My name is Grainne, and I am a grateful, recovering, compulsive overeater.
Hi, Grainne.
Like all of you, I am grateful and honored and blessed to be able to weigh and measure 3 meals a day from the gray sheet, turn them over to my sponsor or another qualified person. I don't eat between my meals no matter what. I do eat my meals no matter what, and my abstinence is the most important thing in my life today. And I really appreciate you and all of the years that we've known each other and all the times that we've seen each other too, Pat, because, I have no idea what I'm going to say about life beyond my wildest dreams. So the first thing that Pat's introduction made me realize is that one of the promises is that we will, the feeling of uselessness will disappear. And I didn't know when I came into these rooms that I felt useless, that I felt like a person who had no purpose, or a person without value, or that I had anything. You know, the paradox of addicts, I hear it all the time, is that I wanted to be at the top of the heap. I wanted to be the person acclaimed by all for my contributions, but really I didn't really feel like I had anything to offer. I always felt like I was a fraud, and if people knew the real me and the real extent of my skills or knowledge, they wouldn't be interested in what I had to say. But I could never have said to you that I lacked a sense of usefulness. But in these rooms, I discovered one of the greatest joys in my life is feeling of value and of use to other people. And I never knew that. I never knew that I grew up Catholic, and one of the things that I remember people being taught as a Catholic was the greatest joy was in giving and not receiving. And I used to think, what crap is that? I mean, getting is what it's all about. You know, that's what I'm here for, is more money, more attention, more sex, more love, more food, more everything. Giving, what has that got to do with anything? But it's the truth. You know, it's one of those quintessential spiritual truths, and I didn't even know that I was missing that until I came in here and very selfishly was told, if you want to keep it, you've got to give it away. And if you want to keep it, you better stay right in the middle. And in the middle for me has been the easiest way to be in the middle of this program is doing service. Because I hook myself in, you know, and then people are calling you and emailing you and asking and telling, and there's just this connection. You know, as soon as you put yourself in a position of service, you're hooked in. And that was something from the very beginning that somebody said, you know, stay connected and give it away, and that's how you'll keep it. So very selfishly, I discovered that that has been one of the things that has brought the greatest joy to my life in abstinence, is feeling of use, just feeling useful. And today, I did think about this, that I had very concrete dreams when I was growing up. The earlier speakers talked about not being conscious of wanting things other than to be thin and normal. But I knew I wanted to be rich and famous, and I wanted to write a book and to, you know, go on tours and have people have me sign their book. And I wanted to be the greatest. At the time I was a psychologist. I was going to be a psychologist. I wanted to be the greatest psychologist ever, and I wanted everybody to, you know, think that. And so I'm not even close to that now. Like, that is not even in the realm of my thought processes today. And I'm 100 times more satisfied than if I had, because at the end of the day, at the end of the year, if I've weighed and measured my food and taken somebody else's commitment and called somebody else with my food and done something else to be of service to this community that carried on this message, that's it. That's it. My year, my day, my week, whatever it was, has been much more of a success than what I thought I wanted in terms of success. And so those two thoughts from what Pat was saying about the service, I mean, the service, I do it because it keeps me abstinent, and I do it because it's been the coming true of something that I never even dreamed I wanted to have come true. And the other thing I was thinking about my wildest dreams is that I also had very concrete dreams around my career, which was, it was progressive, so first you do very well in high school, and then you do very well in undergraduate, and then you do very well in graduate, and then you go on to be something, but you be better at that, and then you get bigger and bigger, and there's always more. There's like always another level that you have to achieve. The standards change, and you have to keep aspiring to more. And that was kind of the picture that I thought that my life would have. And you know what I love about this program? I've been weighing and measuring without exception since September 14th, 1994. And every single one of those days, that I weighed and measured was a success. The standard didn't change. The standard has not changed from 94 to 2004 to 2014. All I need to do today is weigh and measure my food and eat 3 meals a day and commit it. And it's been a great day. And I'm so grateful for a program that has such a low standard of success. It's just that. That's all I've got to do. And we all know that's the hardest thing in the world to do. Until it's not, and then it is the easiest thing. But that's all I got to do. I don't have to change anything between now and the day I die at 120 years old or whatever is going to happen. I don't have to do anything except weigh and measure my meals, and it has been a successful life. And I can get real esoteric with that. I mean, I think that by weighing and measuring my food, I bring peace to me and the people around me. And I model that there is a solution. There's not a damn thing I can do about people who have this disease except weigh and measure my food. And if the people who had come before me hadn't weighed and measured their food without exception, I would never have gotten abstinent. And so all I need to do is weigh and measure my food, and the ripple effects of that mean that when I put my head on that pillow at the last day of my life, it will have been a good life. It will have been a good life. I don't have to go on and get the triple PhD, quadruple whatever. I just have to weigh and measure my food. And somebody said it earlier, that my life, organizing my life around that has brought such peace to my life that I know. I remember about 10 years into abstinence, I was sitting in a roundup, I think it was in Chicago, and during a break somebody said to me, "You're so peaceful. Just sitting next to you is a peaceful experience." I thought, is she, on drugs or something? Does she have any idea of the insanity that lives inside this head and inside the skin? But it was true. I mean, it was true. 10 years into abstinence, I can sit and be at peace. And unbeknownst to me, that's detectable by other people. And that peace comes from, I don't have to debate about anything, about any of the important things in life anymore. The most important thing is what I do with my food, and there's no debate. There's none. There's just not even a question. It's just weighed and measured from the gray sheet, turned over, and that's it. And then trying to practice all that, the hardest challenge, the lifelong challenge of practicing those principles. But that's it, everything is organized around how am I abstinent, and how do I practice those principles to the best of my ability. And everything else just falls into place. And it has allowed me then to come back then into the very concrete stuff. Before I was abstinent, I just want to say that I apologized because I really do believe it's an inside job. It's an inside job in the disease, and it's an inside job in the solution. But the outside reflects the inside, and when I tell you about the outside, you can imply the inside. So before I got abstinent, I was a C student. I barely got by, always, because I was always so distracted by all of my addictions and all of the insanity. I never knew what was important on a given moment in the day. It could have been this attractive person next to me, or the attention of this teacher, or getting my sister to give me more of something. It was crazy, 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 and I was just barely getting by in life always, and that was reflected in what to me was kind of the core of my life. My passion is my work and my career and the everything that went into that. So I was a C-level student, and then I got abstinent, and I became an A-level student. Because when you put down the food, and you're doing that, and that's all, that's what it's all about, then there's all this empty time and space and calm and peace and clarity, and I was able to focus. And I was able to let go of what's not important. I used to spend years, literally years of my study time organizing the paper. And now I write the paper, because I can let go of what's not important. It's so much easier to tell what's important and what isn't when you're told this is the most important thing. Everything that leads you towards abstinence is good. Everything that might distract from it is not. And so that organizing principle has allowed me to discover what my true passion in life, in terms of my career, was, and to pursue it and to be successful at it. And it's really, true that it's only what I do between meals, and it's only what I do to put the meals on the table. But and being abstinent and helping other compulsive overeaters up here, and being good at my job and helping the people I work with is way down here. But it's still the next most important thing for me, is the work that I do. I just adore what I do. I believe in it, and it's useful, and I want to be good at it, and I can be because I'm abstinent. I don't know how much time I have. I forgot to ask.
7 minutes.
7. Thank you, Chloe. So, being abstinent has freed me up from all the chatter and the debate and the angst that goes on. The thing that people mentioned about relationships, I've been in a relationship for 6 years now, or it seems like it might be longer, I can never remember, but it is far from the relationship of my dreams. If I would have written a description of the person I would be partnering with in a romantic relationship, this would not be it. And yet, we are two people who respect and love each other. And we do our best to treat each other as well as we can. And we bring great pleasure to each other. And having him in my life is a great pleasure to me, and I know that he feels the same way. I mean, really, what more could there be? That two people can spend time together and make each other happy and do their best to treat each other with respect and care. And I could never have done any of that if I hadn't been abstinent. Because before, I was worried that you were going to think I was... you would discover that I wasn't as sexy as I thought I had led you to believe, because I was lying and cheating and scheming, and I was full of in my head about, did you notice how much I ate, or did you notice how fat I was, or did you notice that I'm starving myself, and haven't I good because I'm starving myself, and blah, 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 blah. It wasn't about the relationship, it wasn't about the person, it was about me and what you thought of me and what you might give me and what you might take from me and what I might get from you and what you might think of me and what you might tell your friends you thought about me. And that got in the way. And now I'm abstinent. I have to be honest about my food, therefore I have to be honest about other things too. Therefore even backing up. I weigh and measure my food without exception, and therefore I have self-respect. And I can accept that I'm not always honest about everything else. And I don't always put my best effort into everything else. And I'm not always as kind as I'd like to be. I'm just not the person that I would love to be, but it's okay because I'm abstinent. I didn't lie about my food today. I'm not scheming about how I can get more. I'm not ashamed of what I ate. I do whatever it takes to follow this simple program, and somehow I have self-respect. And therefore, I can approach another human being, as I do with my partner, as here I am, me, the good and the bad and the indifferent, and whether you like or love or appreciate or whatever, it's kind of irrelevant because this is me. And let's see what we can make together, but I'm not thinking about me all the time. I'm not evaluating me and judging me through your eyes because I'm okay today because I'm abstinent. And one of the greatest frustrations in the world is that you can't tell anybody who's not abstinent that and have it make any sense. And one of the greatest joys in the world is to sit in a room full of other abstinent GreySheeters and say something as seemingly nonsensical as, the world is good as long as I'm weighing and measuring my food. And you know exactly what I mean. That everything is okay as long as I'm weighing and measuring. And the life I live today is not the life I thought it would be. It's not the life that I might, if I had to write a description of a concrete life that I want. But it is a life, I wouldn't give it up for anything. I wouldn't give it up for anything because it's based on truth. And it's based on this no matter what. I used to envy, to a certain extent, I used to envy people like my grandmother who was devoutly Catholic. She had an organizing principle around for her whole life. She went to Mass every morning. She said certain prayers at certain times. She followed certain rituals. She had certain beliefs that organized her life. I didn't share those beliefs. Some things are good, some things are bad. I totally disagreed with her. But she had principles. And I had to discover my own principles, which I'm grateful that I did. But this one, this gray sheet principle, I don't have to discover for myself. It is what it is, as somebody said earlier. It's black and white. It's on that sheet, and it's interpreted by a sponsor. And then I just have to, like I've said before, I don't know if anybody remembers when you were in school and in science class, the teacher got a piece of paper and put some iron filings on the top of the paper, and then to demonstrate magnetism, she passes a magnet under the paper, and all the iron filings, they all line up in alignment north-south with the magnet as she passes it under the paper. That's what I feel my life has done since Gray Sheet came along. Like all the iron filings that were all like this before, they just line up by this mysterious principle that's invisible, that unless you experience it, you can't describe it, you can't understand it, and I get to get it by some accident, total accident of being in the right place at the right time and being desperate enough to take the message when it was offered. I'll close with this, the miracle of my abstinence. Many people have heard the story, but that woman who came to that OA meeting in Kalamazoo in 1993, she only went to one OA meeting to carry the message. She came to Kalamazoo for a year. She said, I'll go to one OA meeting, and I'll tell them the Gray Sheet's in town, and I'm not going back. And she came to that one meeting, and that was the one meeting that was my last OA meeting after 2 years of trying. And I was just going to give up. That was it. And of course, that's what I needed. I needed to be at the point where I was going to give up, because even in 2 years of 12-step OA, I was still trying to manage it myself. It wasn't giving up. I hadn't given up. I was still trying to figure out, how do I make myself abstinent? And that one Sunday, it was the only time in my entire life when I said, I can't do it. And there she was. And I'd never heard of GreySheet before. So how did I get it, and how did I get it at the right time? It's a miracle. We are so blessed, we happy few, as they say in AA. Look at us, how in this huge metropolis of whatever it is, 12 million people in London, and there's 20 or 30 of us in here who've gotten the miracle. It's beyond human understanding. I'm really grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.